Hey folks, this is Julius, Twitch a Christian, coming at you with a video update. Kind of going to get into a little bit of things. And I've been waiting to actually make this video. I have more videos I'm trying to get to for you guys. But this one needed to be made because there was a lot of information that's come out. And I wanted to wait because there's a lot of people out there getting banned right now. You talk about a certain subject, a certain group, and they are cracking down. I'll get into that a little bit. But for those of you who don't know, of course, you had the whole thing with the Biden, Clinton, and some emails. And then you have the follow-up where you have these news organizations trying to put out this information, and then you have groups like Facebook and Twitter restricting those, right? And now, as you can see with this article here, that it's also YouTube. So I have to be very careful because once you lose it, and then you try to start all over again and try to do all that, and then you lose a lot of people. And I'm not trying to do all that. The information is out there, folks, and that's what we do. But when you start following and really start participating in some of these other groups, especially like in the Nasara community, it's being invaded by another group, or people latch on to this other group and they're sharing everything, including they're even sharing things that are not true. But there's some pretty heavy things, folks. There's some really heavy things that have come out, and I'm going to put those. I'm going to put the link down below in the description to the Patreon post with the links to the YouTube's videos that you need to watch and the links to the news articles you need to read. Right? A lot of people talk about there's a possible another Snowden and that whole thing with the Middle East, and somebody bringing out a lot of information. Now, folks, isn't that what we've been waiting for? That is something that we're waiting for. We're waiting for the corruption, folks, because the RV is not going to happen until a lot of this is dealt with. A lot of the corruption is dealt with. It's not going to happen. And I don't expect to see really any arrest until after the election. And, they could RV anytime. Who's to know that a lot of these bad guys that are out there on the world stage are even holding dinars and stuff like that. Right? But there's still a lot of people right now that are still in power that in order for the global currency reset, the dinar to take place, there's things still have to happen. We're waiting for the breakthrough in the Middle East. And, and I've talked about how that could be one thing dealing with OPEC. And I've talked about OPEC, and there's other people talking about OPEC. That could be a very big deal. And because Iraq is OPEC's problem child, for all we know, they've already told them that they were leaving, and so that's why they don't go by any, they'll pump more than what they're supposed to. Who knows? But everything is shifting in the Middle East, too, as well. Right? Now we have Iraq talking about doing peace agreements with Israel. Everything is changing shape. Right? There has to be reasons. There has to be reasons behind the scenes of what's going on with Israel and all these peace agreements. It's insane. When you think about it, it's insane. Something has made a major shift. And maybe this does have to deal with the new system that's coming. But folks, this whole thing, like I said, I put the link down below in the description to the Patreon post, because, folks, I am seeing people who talk about a certain subject and they're deleting their videos and their accounts, and I've even seen Patreons get deleted, right? Because then they start with they do their little trail and they go and they do their work and they all get together to get rid of certain people, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of held off. I didn't want to talk about it until I feel like it's safe to talk about it. But this one particular group, a lot of people know who they are. It's a letter of the alphabet, and like I said, I'm seeing those YouTube channels disappear. All right, I'm seeing their Twitters disappear, and so I've actually went through a couple months ago, and I went through and deleted a lot of videos. There was a lot of videos that they tagged me as far as the ads and stuff like that. So a lot of those I just went ahead and deleted. And one day I'll show. And I have a lot of videos that have been deemed limited. But this thing is huge. And Facebook and Twitter's response. This is what's going to happen. Let me share this with you folks. This is what's going to happen with Facebook and Twitter when some of those Epstein files come out, right? When they start releasing it. And they're going to do the same thing. They're going to limit its reach. Is what's going to happen, right? Everything, this whole thing, with the Clinton emails and all those things going on in the Middle East, the possible Snowden, right? So when you guys go check that out, it's going to blow your mind. But we have to sit back and we have to wait until it's actually official, right? With all these different things and crimes take place. So we got to be careful. And the things that we share, and the things what I'm sharing, I don't want to share something. I didn't want to get caught up in the hype of everything that was going on and then shared something, and the next thing you know, you're like, where's TC at? And this whole thing that's dealing with those emails in the Middle East, if all those things are true, and there's probably a whole lot more dealing with the group that took over a third of Iraq, there's probably a lot more to the whole situation. I think all that's gonna come out with this particular new, if it's true. So right now, before I start reporting on anything, I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna hold back because I don't want anything to happen to this channel, but I can still show you things and use my Patreon to do that. And this post in there will be a public post. So you can go to the post. You don't have to worry about being a subscriber. It'll be public. So folks, we are 19 days away from the election, and yet and still, right, we talk about some of the things that have to happen with the arrest. We haven't seen anything. And this is what kind of makes me think that this, that has to happen before an RV, or maybe in the middle or in the transition. But some of these things, I guess, they do have to come out first. And then we can go from there. Right? And we could watch and judge the news, but not get caught up in all this hype, right? We got to pay attention, especially during trading hours, right? Especially for those of you in the stock market, don't get caught up in a lot of the stuff. You got to pay attention and focus in, making your day trades or doing your research on other companies or doing Kim Clement research, things you could be doing. Okay, we know it's going to happen, right? That's the way that I'm looking at this. I haven't spent a lot of time looking and reading a whole bunch of information concerning all of this. I have enough to say, okay, a lot of this remains to be seen, right? And the whole thing with Biden, it's absolutely crazy what's going on in that situation. And I think there's going to be a big fallout. It's possible that his father could step down once it's all revealed, and we still have 19 days away from the election, so who knows, right? So we don't know how the situation is going to take form and shape, and what all is going to come out. I mean, you got to remember it's October. The other side has their tactics too, so who knows, how all this is going to play out on both sides. So it's kind of funny though how, for the last 3 years we've heard a lot of things about the Russia thing, and how the mainstream media reports every rumor as fact, right? But then when something comes out, imagine if it was the other way around, right? Imagine if it was on Trump with all these emails and stuff, right? They would be going ballistic, right? But if it's the other side, hey, it's fake, we haven't verified it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So you're seeing that. And that's where Kim Clement talked about at some point down the road. And this does kind of relate to everything that is going on in Iraq. But he did say something about the media, that these three mainstream media companies will have a Damascus Road experience. So this could be it, because eventually they can't hold it back. There's going to be so much more that comes back. They can't do all this. And now our government is, they're subpoenaing Facebook and Twitter about all this stuff. So this is just part of it, right? When we look at the total whole thing of the wealth transfer, folks, really, it's surprising, right? All the emails and probably what's going to come out in the Middle East, this is all leading towards to getting to the wealth transfer, right? Getting to that point with the Dinar RVs, right? And then everything else after that that takes place. Following down the line and getting through the 8 wells and investing and doing all this. Because you know what? After all this is said and done, there's a new mission. And that mission is to move forward. Once all these people have been dealt with, right, we're going to move forward, right? We got to move forward because there's a lot of issues at stake. There's a lot of, people are still dying every single day of whatever, but yet we can make an impact when the wealth transfer begins, right? We can make an impact on people's individual lives, and that's what it's about. There's a lot of people who donate millions of dollars to this organization or that organization. How many organizations, how many people do you know that have actually, out of all these foundations you hear about, that have actually benefited from foundations, right? I'm just talking about the average person who's in need, right? Unless you have like a medical condition or something like that, you don't qualify for a lot of things. If you're somebody who's down on his luck, especially during this time period, trust me, go out there and try to sign up for all these different foundations out there and see if you qualify. And even for like, say for instance, my project, the Grigori, they always talk about like all these different grants and loans and all this stuff, right, for businesses and black businesses. Well, you start going there and you start filling out, you start looking at all the different qualifications, and you find out that, well, heck, I got to be bringing in $100,000 a year just to get a grant, And I've seen that, especially when you hear about, you heard about all the Black Lives Matter donations, and they're donating to all these different organizations. They're giving out grants for businesses, and you start looking them up, and you don't even meet none of the qualifications. And a lot of it's a lot of stuff that they want, some of the information that they want, I haven't even heard of before, And each businesses are run differently, but it's just amazing because I'm trying to find something to where I could get grants from these organizations, but there's none that I even qualify for or the business qualifies for, and I feel sorry for. Especially after going through that whole process and looking at all those different grants and stuff, other people who are at the same point in their business where I am. You've already put in thousands of dollars. You got a lot of things going, and you need to get a grant so that you can really push the project forward. Or push your business forward. And a lot of times you don't qualify enough because you're not bringing in a certain amount of money already. See, a lot of these grants and stuff for businesses, basically you got to be basically almost set up and making money. So folks, this is just part of it, right? So don't so when I say, be careful, what you are sharing on social media and what you're doing, just so you don't lose access to information. And that's why that's why I kind of held back and kind of let everything roll, let Facebook, Twitter, and now YouTube do whatever they're doing. So, like I said, the master arrest is just part of the overall picture because the bad guys have to be put away, right? You have to get first of all, the banking system is going to be a part. People still need credit, right? It's not like the banks are going to totally go away, or the banking system, because if you want to go buy a house, and let's say you're just the average person, you don't know nothing about no global currency reset, you go to work 9 to 5, you have a good job, and you need to go buy a house, and you don't have the money to completely buy a house, you're still going to need credit, right? Aren't we still going to need credit, after the global currency reset? So that system is still going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people who are not going to come into a lot of money during this global currency reset because they are totally unaware. And then here we have the whole thing with the stimulus. Nobody's getting a stimulus. I mean, this is amazing that, the central bank has pumped in billions of dollars every single day into this global economy, and we can't even get it. We can't even get another stimulus check. And Christmas is coming up, holidays are coming up, rent is coming up, bills are due, businesses are closing, people are filing bankruptcy. California's in a lot of trouble. Chicago's in a lot of trouble. There's just a lot of things that need to take place so that we can move forward. Hopefully, this whole election thing will not be drawn out. So as we get closer, folks, I think it's just going to even be more. I think it's just going to get crazier with the news. So I am going to be careful of what I am talking about and what I post, because I want to be able to post during this whole time period. So for those people who are into the dinar and the global currency reset, you guys really need to be careful what kind of videos you guys have up. Stay at home. Don't worry about trying to go to no rallies, no matter what political party you're a part of, and get involved in that stuff. We are in the climax. We are at the end of the road, so to speak, and there are some major things that have to happen in order to get to the end of the road concerning this old system and going to a new system with the global currency reset and that whole thing. I believe that we are at the end of the road to this, and I think things are going to happen very quickly. And when they happen very quickly, guess what? We're going to be in research mode, because after this, we have the rest of the Kim Clement wells and this whole thing with the debt and Yellowstone. There's supposed to be some new energy coming up out of this. So a lot of people have been watching Yellowstone for a while, and we're just waiting for the big one, right? Right? And that's after then, at some point, there's going to be that new energy source that's discovered. And then from that point, we'll need to figure out what companies are involved with that or how to invest in that when that time comes. Because personally, I don't think the Dinar RV is going to cancel out all debt. Kim Clement said it was going to be the new energy source that cancels out the debt. Not as many people are dinar holders as they used to be. Remember, because now these companies have been buying back dinars from a lot of people. A lot of people have got out of it, but a lot of people have given up. We'll try to keep you updated. Everything that's going on with Zion Oil right now, and we're just in that waiting. It's the 15th. The ship leaves in 6 days, right? And then it comes back. Then we'll drop off the rig a week later. Right? And we don't know if we're going to get any kind of news or announcements or if there's any delays or anything like that. And that should push up the price, right? So that's what we're looking for. I see a steady up climb, and it's all going to depend on what they tell us. And we're just holding on, and we're so close. Zion Oil is so close for a lot of us who have been waiting that it's going to have an impact on our lives in the short term and in the long term. As we're waiting for the news to come out, as far as the drill, we know they won't actually be able to start drilling until everything is complete, but I foresee a rise in the stock before then. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not telling you to buy it, but I'm just telling you to the people who are invested already. So, but I am gonna make another Zion Oil video. I was supposed to make one, and I got caught up in work and just a lot of different things going on. But I am making another Zion Oil video. And you see where it's at, but we are so close to the 21st. So anyways, folks, look out for that Zion Oil video. Look out for October surprises. You may not see it because, a lot of things are being suppressed right now. A lot of YouTube channels are being suppressed and deleted, Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, all that. And so we're just going to have, it's going to come to a point to where the media will have to report it. That's how bad it's going to be, that they are going to have to report everything that's going on. All right, folks, thank you for listening. God bless, be safe, and with that being said, Twisted Christian out.